Thank you, Mr Deputy President. And I rise tonight to talk about youth connections. Last Friday, I had the pleasure of meeting a 17-year-old Tanika who lives south of Hobart, and I met with Tanika to talk about her experience of the Vital Youth Connections program, which has been provided in Tasmania by Connolly 47 since 2010. Tanika was referred to the Youth Connections program by Centrelink. She was in Year 11 and was not attending school because of the challenges for her within the school environment. Tanika met Anita from Connolly 47 and her life was transformed. Anita was able to talk to Tanika one-on-one about her future. Tanika said she wanted to work in aged care, and Anita was able to point her in the right direction and explain how she could study and work too. Tanika is now enrolled in a Certificate 3 in aged care and has been applying for voluntary work in the same field. And Mr Acting Deputy President has been successful in achieving some voluntary work in that field. Tanika told me that the Youth Connections program has helped her achieve more than she ever could on her own. Tanika said, and I quote, "I'm finally getting a chance at the education I've always wanted. Before that, it was too hard. It made a big impact on my life in lots of ways. Everything is starting to fall into place now. I'm really glad Centrelink referred me to Youth Connections, and I've been able to think about what I'm good at and what I really want to do. I'm going to do my training in aged care, and all my family are really proud of me." End quote. And if you were able to have the opportunity, like I was, to have met Tanika, you would see that this was a wonderful young woman who had come across some challenges that made her very vulnerable into dropping out of education and training. And this Youth Connections program has managed to help her and support her in a way I think she never thought she would be able to have. But Tanika is not alone, Mr Acting Deputy President. Over 400 vulnerable or at-risk young Tasmanians like Tanika have accessed support for Youth Connections. Youth Connections was set up by Labor in 2010 to make sure that young people do not drop out of school and end up unemployed or dependent on welfare. Since 2010, Labor has funded Youth Connections partnership brokers and career development services, investing more than $700 million over 5 years. Up to the end of last year, almost 75,000 young people have been given the hand-up they need by Youth Connections. Labor designed these youth services to stop young people who have not completed Year 12 from falling between the cracks. If someone drops out of school because of family problems or any other reason, it's vital to make sure that they get a second chance, because we know how important it is to finish Year 12, because it reduces the risk of unemployment and leads to getting more highly paid jobs. If young people drop out of school, it can affect their lives forever. Youth Connections has had a great success rate, with 80% of people who have accessed these services still in education or employment after 2 years. The CEO of Connolly 47, Ms Therese Taylor, told me that Youth Connections has already supported over 400 young people in Tasmania to improve and expand their connection to education. Connolly 47 has also provided support for students moving from primary to high school and newly arrived refugees. But now we have to ensure this service is not cut by the budget that we've heard tonight. This budget, unfortunately, will go down in history as an assault, I believe, on young Australians, particularly those who are disadvantaged and at risk. Youth Connections is an incredibly successful program. It will cost Australia more in unemployment benefits, justice and social services if this program is cut. At a time of rising youth
Order.
unemployment, cutting these...
Order. Your time has expired, Senator Brown.